see the world kind of. So I went to school, and after I graduated, I hit the road running, and I learned very fast. And then I ended up getting into teaching, and it turned out I was pretty good at it. So I stuck with teaching as well as working in the field. So it's kind of getting the best of both worlds. And once I started teaching, the thing I loved about teaching was that once I saw people go from, making short money and they weren't really happy with their life and they didn't want to make $12 an hour anymore or whatever, to making, between $60,000 and $90,000 in the first, few years is definitely possible. I've had students do it. So going from making small money to making real money that you can, live your life with and support your family with, it was a great experience for me, seeing, kind of changing people's lives and seeing the good that can come out of this. So I stuck with it and basically ended up at Benjamin Franklin, which is the best school I've ever taught at by far. And one of the reasons I love this school the most is because of the support it gives the students. We're not here just trying to take people's money and that's it. Everybody that works in this school cares. And I've seen everyone I work with bend over backwards for people to do whatever they can to make sure that students get the best education they can and can succeed and be successful in life. So there's a ton of support at the school, and I think it's absolutely wonderful that we can do that for people. So the HVAC program itself, I would say, we have one of the best programs in the state. There's not many schools in the state that teach HVAC, and there's some for-profit ones. We are a nonprofit organization, so we're like a state school here, and our course is only 800 hours, so it's only 9 months long, which is, somebody can pretty much change their whole life in 9 months. Sounds like having a kid, but 9 months goes by quick, and you come out and you have a brand new career, making great money and working as much as you want to work. So our program is, like I said, 9 months long. And in that 9 months, we basically start everybody from the very beginning. And it doesn't matter what you know about HVAC. It doesn't matter if you've ever held a screwdriver or a hammer in your life. We start everybody from the beginning. Some people come in with a little more experience than others, but we just level the playing field and start from the very beginning. And we take you through there and we talk about heating, air conditioning. We do basic electricity. So that's the very first thing we do is basic electricity. And we talk about how electricity works and how we manipulate it to do the things that we want it to do. And we go on from there, talk about refrigeration, the theory of refrigeration, and air conditioning. Somebody have a question? No? All right. So throughout the course, we give a bunch of certifications that are great. And some of these certifications, we're the only school in Massachusetts that gives them. One of my favorite ones is the EPA certification. This is like a standard certification for any HVAC technician. If you want to handle refrigerant and be able to purchase and sell and work with refrigerant, you need to have this license. And we hardcore go over this test. We review it, we practice, and we make sure that people pass it on the highest level they can, which would be a universal technician. Our passing rate is, I would say, over 90%. We have a very good passing rate. And if people don't make it the first time, we let them take it a second time. It is a federal test. We're allowed to give it 3 times. But I haven't had anybody have to take it 3 times. So the EPA is basically like your driver's license for HVAC. With that, it opens up a ton of doors that you have access to supply houses now, wholesalers, things like that. Another certification we give that our employers love, that we send our our students to is the OSHA 10, which is a safety certification. OSHA is the Occupational Safety Hazard Association. And we have a guy come in from OSHA and train our students for 2 days, and we give them the 10-hour certification, which basically tells an employer that that student is safe, knows what he's working with, and knows the basic rules about being in a construction site. So employers love that one. I don't know any other schools that do that in the state of Massachusetts. We also give an oil certification for oil burners. So we're a pretty diverse course where we go from refrigeration, we do heating, and heating is going to include gas furnaces and oil furnaces and heat pumps. We also do air conditioning, both commercial and residential. We do refrigeration, commercial refrigeration for like restaurants and everything. We talk about that. And we have all this equipment available to us at our school. And we have a nice HVAC lab in the school, which we have all the equipment that we set up. And we basically start people by having, they build their own refrigeration trainer. It's like basically building your own little refrigerator. And then we graduate onto the bigger stuff. We start working with those things. So we do give an oil certification. We talk about oil heat. We go through the oil burner and how everything works associated with that. We also give some other certifications, some smaller ones like motor vehicle air conditioning. The way I look at it as a department chair is the more certifications you have, the more your stock goes up. So the more certifications you have, the more enticing you are to an employer. So if somebody shows up with multiple certifications, it looks great on an interview, and can definitely make your chances of being hired much better. Our course also goes along with the state of Massachusetts for the refrigeration license. So after taking our course, we're going to credit you with 2,000 hours, even though you're only in school for actual 800 hours. So we are approved by the state as a licensed school to teach refrigeration. So the hours from our school count towards that license. And for that license, you would need 150 hours of refrigeration theory. We also do 100 hours of electrical code. And we also do over 250 hours of shop work, which is hands-on and everything. So that sets you up. So after you graduate, you only have to work 2 years full-time under a licensed company or a licensed technician, and you can then sit for your test. And you would just have to pass in our transcript that we give you from the school. And you send it in with your application, and they would invite you to sit for the refrigeration license exam. Once you get that license, that's the top license in HVAC. And, once you have that, it opens up a whole new world of different things you can do. As for careers in HVAC, it's not just someone sitting in a van riding around to different houses and companies doing HVAC. There's multiple pathways in HVAC. And coming to this course is basically your foundation of which way you want to go. I mean, there's sales jobs, there's installation jobs, there's also desk jobs. We have people that are, some of you guys might be familiar with like a Nest thermostat and how, it's a wireless thermostat that you can control your house with from anywhere in the world. Well, if you imagine that for a building full of offices, somebody has to sit there and monitor on a computer what's going on with each system in each area of that building. That's just one example of a career you could get after this course. I have a friend that works on a cruise ship. He works for Carnival Cruise Lines. He does HVAC on the boats. He's got a great job that I'm often jealous of when I see his Facebook, and he travels the world. Not right now, but he'll travel the world. He gets 3 months on, and then he's off for 3 months. And then, the boat stops somewhere. He gets a day off wherever they are. So he's got a great job doing HVAC. He went to school for it as well. You can also be, I guess there's two ways you can go. You can work, you can have a great career for a company. You can also start your own business, which a lot of my students do. And I have students that have started successful companies 2, 3, 4, 5 years out of school. And one kid has a company right now in Martha's Vineyard. He's one of the only HVAC companies on the vineyard. So he's doing pretty well. Obviously, when you have your own company, the sky's the limit when it comes to money. But it also comes with headaches. And some people choose to work for more of a HVAC job that would be like in a hotel, working in a hotel, which is fine. The money's still great, great benefits. There's a lot of state jobs when it comes to HVAC. I have a student that went to the state. He works in the prisons doing the HVAC. They pay him really well. It's state jobs, so his benefits are great. I have a student that he works for Amtrak. He just got hired. And he's making great money just to start right off the bat. Also, all the colleges and schools we have in Massachusetts, there's a lot of great HVAC jobs, as well as hospitals, working in a hospital and doing HVAC. Great money. You guys have any questions about different careers within HVAC? All right. All right, so how do you get started? Well, it sounds like some of you guys have already been accepted, and we'll be starting in the fall, and that's great. I want to say congratulations to you guys. It's a big step. You know, it takes a lot of courage for some people to come back to school and you know, get back in the school environment, or to, you know, to just change it up in your life. You know, a lot of things you might not be happy with the way things are going in your life. You want to make some more money, get a better job where you're respected, and this is a great way to change it. So for those of you that haven't gone through the steps of, you know, being accepted and enrolled for the fall, you can ask any one of our graduates. It's probably one of the best moves they ever made, because now you have a skill. And, you know, anybody can stock a shelf. And the thing, if you're stocking shelves for a living, well, anybody can stock a shelf. So if they don't like you or something, you know, you're easily replaced. When it comes to HVAC, you have a skill now that people will pay for, because not everybody knows how to do HVAC. I usually talk about landscaping. You know, it doesn't take much to push a lawnmower and cut the grass. Anybody can kind of do it. So the pay isn't always that great, and you know, it's kind of a revolving door. But with HVAC or any skilled trade, you now have a skill that people need. People don't want to build their own houses. They want to have other people build it. They don't want to replace their own furnaces. They want a professional to come in. They don't have to worry about it, and it's done in a couple of days. They just pay for it, and that's it. So having the skill puts you kind of above a lot of different jobs. Having the skill is going to be, you know, your pathway to basically having a successful career. So making the first move would become the school. And, you know, Ben Franklin is a great school to come to for HVAC. So as I was talking about our program, it's only 9 months long. We're going to give you a bunch of certifications that I talked about. We're also going to help you find a job. So not only do we support people throughout the course of HVAC, but we also help them at the end with finding a job. We actually give you small little courses towards the end of the last semester that will help you improve your resume, be better on interviews. I know interviews are sometimes scary for people, but the funny thing about interviews is the further you go in your career and you know, become professional with it, the interviews kind of turns around. Instead of, you know, you go into an interview worried about, oh my God, I hope they like me, I hope I get the job. Now, as you get older and you go to interviews and now you have a skill and something that they need, it kind of turns into, is this a place that I want to work? How are the benefits of this company? So you start thinking differently. So we have a whole department dedicated to getting you ready to enter the workforce, the HVAC specific workforce, and making sure that your resume is polished up and your skills are on point.
John, can you talk about the tools? The tools that the students receive?
Right. So once you're enrolled, when the first day of class comes, we're going to be passing out books. So your tuition is going to include the book. And this is about a 1,200-page Bible. I call it the HVAC Bible. It's like I still have my original copy from when I went to school, and I kept it in my truck with me for a long time doing HVAC. So we give you that book to keep. It's yours. That book also comes with an online version of the book that opens up. Now it becomes interactive as well. So now you have access to videos on the topics that are related that you're talking about within the book, animations, and also a simulator comes with it, which can simulate everything from refrigeration to residential and commercial heating and air conditioning. So that's pretty cool. That's all included with your book. We also include a tool bag, which is basically your starter toolkit. I say starter, but the tools aren't starter. We have some pretty good tools that we use, and I picked them myself, and they're the actual tools that we really use in the field. It's not just some knockoff stuff that's going to fall apart. We give you the legit tools that you're going to use, and those are yours to keep. And the tools include a lot of different things. We give you a set of refrigeration gauges. We give you a digital multimeter. We also give you a digital thermometer, basic hand tools like a hammer, a screwdriver set, a wrench set, and then some HVAC specific tools like tubing cutters, a deburring tool, tools to expand the piping and flare it out, swedging tools. So we give you also a lot of HVAC specific tools. So it's a complete tool bag, and there's not much you can't do with the tools that we provide to you. Also, we give you guys a shirt. Working in HVAC, we work with a lot of dangerous things, so that requires safety, right? So safety is number one when we're working in our labs and things like that. And one of the things I've done is I've gotten shirts for all the students and instructors because they're working right next to you too, so they need to be safe as well. These shirts they're actually pretty good looking. I don't think I have one on me, but you can probably see one through admissions, or I can send a picture of them. But they're very nice shirts. They're kind of like auto mechanic shirts. They're black and blue, and they say Benjamin Franklin HVAC student. And they're arc flash, which means they're kind of not fireproof, but fire resistance. And it kind of helps if you kind of get cut. If something sharp falls on you, it'll protect you from that. So we give you a school shirt, and it's a pretty good looking shirt, and we require that, and people wear those to class just for safety. Also in the tool bag comes safety glasses and safety gloves as well. So safety is our number one thing, no matter what we're doing. And that's about it for the tools. Do you have any other questions before we keep going?
Yeah, we can keep going. Does anyone have any questions? You can even ask the question, or you can post your question in the chat.
All right, so I'm going to now show you guys. I'm going to take over your screens for the people that can see, and I'm going to show you how we operate both online and in school as well. So to do this, we use a program throughout the school called Canvas, and Canvas is an incredible program that keeps us all linked. It tracks people, and it keeps you up to date on what assignments are due, what the homework is you need to do. It has all your resources in one place that you're going to need, and it gives you contact to your instructors, other students, myself, and different people throughout the school. if you need any kind of support or anything like that. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll show you guys what Canvas looks like. Everybody see that?
Yep.
So when you first go onto Canvas, it's going to show you your classes. I have a lot of classes because I'm in a lot of them. But you would click on your class, and this is what Canvas looks like. So basically, the way this is set up is you have this is the home page right here. And you can access this through your cell phone, through a tablet, a desktop, either one. So on the left here, I have access to the syllabus for the course. I can see each syllabus. I can also see my attendance, what my attendance is like. Any announcements are available, like instructors have any announcements throughout the course. You know, oh, don't forget to bring your electrical meter on Monday. We also have a conference, which is what we're using right now to go online and teach within a virtual classroom. So this conference is what gives us a virtual classroom. We also use it for tutoring. I tutor a lot of students with it. So anyone that is kind of, you know, not understanding a certain topic, I usually jump on with them, and we have our own little virtual private classroom, and I can help tutor people. This would show you all the assignments. You can see we have a lot of assignments. This is only a 9-month course, so we take advantage of those 9 months, and we do a lot of things. The hardest part of this course is if you don't show up, because that makes things a lot more difficult. We also have chat and that. So I can show you what the first semester looks like. I'm looking at the first semester right now. So at the very top, I just have, we have a simulator. This is your simulator and your online book, which I'll show you in a minute. The next one is the course expectations for the course. Some expectations we have: you're expected to be in class on time. If you're late, it's your job to find out what you've missed. If you are not in an HVAC classroom, we mark you absent. So this is going to go through the different expectations, and we give this out on the first day. It has my contact information, so if people have any questions, I'm here to answer them and clear up things. And then we get into the actual class. So the way I have these classes set up is when you come in for a class for an HVAC, the first 2 hours or so is a lecture. So we're going to talk about a certain topic that day. It could be refrigerants. So the first 2 hours of class, we talk about refrigerants, and then, you know, different things you can do with them, how they work. And then for the second part of the class, in the same day, the rest of the class, we're going to be hands-on, learning, working with the refrigerants and seeing how that goes. So usually in the first couple hours, we go through a PowerPoint, and all the PowerPoints that we go through are available to you right on Canvas. So these are all the PowerPoints for the first week that we're going to talk about. And I'll just pick one right here. Take a look at one. So we use some PowerPoints from the actual book that we have, and we also have our own PowerPoints, and we would go through them like that. And we'd talk about it, and we play it. This is like the very first PowerPoint. So we're talking about tools and how to use them, safety with them. So we, like I said, we start from the very beginning when it comes to this. So there's all your different PowerPoints for the first week. Any handouts we pass out in that first week are all available to you on Canvas. Right under week 1, you'd see them right there. We have some videos posted. So these are videos that we've gone over ourselves and checked them out, and we've added them to the site so that you can refer to them for notes. And here is a lab. Our course is actually, we have a lot of labs. And what I mean by lab is, so say we talk about refrigerant we lecture about refrigerants for 2 hours. The rest of the class, the other 4.5 hours, we're actually doing hands-on. So in this case, you come in your first week, we're going to talk about electricity. Your first lab is actually this lab right here that I'll open up for us. So you come in and we explain to you what a series circuit is. We go over the theory of electricity and how it flows through a certain circuit. And then we give you this lab right here. So this lab, it's basically going to walk you through the steps on creating your own single or series circuit. And then you're going to be testing it and putting your answers in the field. So we have little electrical training boards that you guys will wire up. And once the students wire them up, we check it, and then we power them up, and then we take readings from it. So pretty much walks you through step by step on how to put something together or work with something. We have hundreds of labs that we do, and each one is very straightforward. It walks you right through it, and then I'll show you another one. Here's another example of a lab. So this one, we have you wire up 2 different light bulbs in parallel and control them with a switch. And then you would record all the voltages and things like that using your meter. At the end of the lab, we give questions you have to answer and pass it to us. That, of course, we would grade and put into the grade book. So you pass in these questions. We go over them the next day or whenever they're due. And then we talk about the right answers. And so that's kind of, the lab kind of walks us through the hands-on aspect of what we're talking about. So basically the class is separated into 2. You have the lecture in the beginning, about 2 hours or so. The rest of the course is hands-on, working with the actual equipment that we're talking about that day. So this goes on for all the weeks, week 2, week 3. The first semester is 15 weeks, and you have access to see. So if you want to jump ahead, people like to sometimes go ahead and do the homework for other chapters, which is fine. It shows you the due dates, things like that. These are all, you can see we have a bunch of different labs, taking your gauges off of a system, different things like that. So that's all fun. But the real fun stuff is up here at the top. When we go into the simulator, this is where it gets pretty cool. So this is included in your tuition, and it comes with your book. You have your actual, let me go into a different course here and do it. So the whole book you have access to online as well. I know for me, whenever I had to read a book and do a report, sometimes it's tough trying to read and get through a whole book. This can kind of break that up for you. So not only does it have each chapter and section in the book, these are all the sections right here. And if I open one up, it shows me each unit, and then it breaks it down even further to the chapters. So if we wanted to read the book, just that one specific chapter, go into it like this, Introduction to Heat, and it shows the book. I can actually have it read it to me if I'd like. Oh, I don't know what that is. So it has each chapter of the book that we go through. It also has soft skills built into it as well. We talk about communication skills, life skills for professional success, telephone skills, meeting management. So we do add a little bit of the soft skills into it. I think that helps with, when you're going for interview, things like that. So it goes through the rest of the book, and then we get to, we'll go into the simulator. And it gives you simulations. So I'm going to open up this simulation right here. Start the assignment. And it's that simple. So what this is right now is we're going to go on a service call for HVAC. And here we are at the customer's house. So you have a cell phone available to you. It shows you right here. So you have your what the problem is. You have a customer name. Obviously, it's all made up. And no heat. So we're trying to see what the problem is here. I'll just give you guys a quick example. I can go to the thermostat. I have access to that. I can turn the heat on. I can go to the actual furnace itself. And I want to shut the power off before I work on it. I can remove the panels. And the detail on this is actually pretty incredible. I can zoom right into pretty much everything. Pretty close. So you can literally see where wires are going. And you can see the whole circuit board here. You can see the actual flames. Take this. And you can see the operation of the equipment. So we can actually see the furnace fire up. There's the flame. And I can test different things. It gives me different tools that I can use, like this electrical meter, which I can put here, and I can check the power to the fan motor if I want, things like that. Right there, 120 volts going to the fan motor. And even makes you, when you're all done, you even have to sweep up. Oh. And then you would sweep up and you'd be done with that. And the system would be all set. So that's just for a gas furnace. We have multiple different simulations that we can use here. I can do one for air conditioning. Split residential air conditioner. Start the assignment. And here we are. Gives you the customer name, like Barry Ledwater on Amica Street in Akron, Ohio. He's got no air conditioning. It's not working. So our job, your job actually, would be to figure out why it's not working. And it even gives you some, if you kind of get lost, you don't know what you're doing, it gives you what to check, and it kind of walks you through each thing. So it's not just for people that know what they're doing. Obviously, this is for training purposes, so it'll help walk you through it. You can see in the backyard here, I got the air conditioner. I can take off the electrical panel. I can check all the components inside of there using my meter, or I can also put some refrigerant gauges on it. I can take my gauges, put them on. Just like that. Now I can read pressures of the system. Go turn it on. And so, like right now, the system's not running because there's something wrong. So I would have to figure out what the issue with it is, and go through it and have all the tools available to me. I even have electrical schematics, equipment diagram. Can show you different pieces of different components in the system that you have access to. Pressure temperature charts. Also give you some other charts that you would use to help diagnose. So the simulator is a very cool thing, and it aids in our classwork, and it gives you something to do at home. You can do these things for homework. The simulators, they have challenges, different things like that. So right now, we're, of course, we're using the simulator pretty heavily, but we also will be using it throughout the course as well. It kind of aids with what we're talking about. So this would be the second semester right here. Where we talk about, we also do a lot of schematics. We'll give you a blank schematic, such as this one. And we have you do it for homework. You would go over the schematic, check it out, and see if you can wire it yourself. And then we have you come back to class, and then we see how you did. And then we show you the right way to wire it. And then we give you the wired one to keep for study. Right there. So we pretty much cover every aspect of delivering the information. And we go through, like I said, refrigeration, basic electricity, gas heat, oil heat, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, and commercial air conditioning. Anybody have any questions? You guys still there?
So this is a part of the presentation when we will open it up for any questions, comments, before we end the session. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question, or ask the question in the group chat, and we can answer the question. We have financial aid and admissions on the Zoom as well.
I actually have a question about accessing student accounts, and actually when we'll be able to register for classes.
Yes. So have you already done your placement test?
No, that was the first time I heard about the placement test.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there isn't one for HVAC.
There is. Yep. You're right. So what we have to do is once you email once you complete your financial aid, your FAFSA, we'll email your information to the student accounts, who will just verify that everything is all clear. Once everything is all set, we can register you for classes.
I assume it's going to be a little bit of delay just due to the fact of COVID-19, but I already applied for my FAFSA, so I'm just going to wait for that email, it sounds like.
Okay, yes. If you want to put your full name in the group chat, we can have our financial aid counselor reach out to you. If you want to put your full name and your email address in the group chat.
Any HVAC questions I can answer?
All right, sounds good. All right, Emmanuel, we'll have financial aid reach out. Oh, there you go.
I'm on it.
All right, thank you. Besides that, I don't think I have any questions at the moment besides those two.
Nice. Are you excited?
Most definitely.
Awesome. What do you do now, Manny?
Oscar, William, do you guys have any questions?
I'm good.
Okay, Will.
Yeah. I think someone asked me what I'm currently working.
Yeah, what do you do now?
I actually just finished my service year with the AmeriCorps. So I did citizen schools, and then the year before I did city year.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to having all you guys in class. Hopefully you signed up, and we get everybody here that can help you if you need any help with anything. I'm also available if anyone has any questions about the course itself or what to bring. You really don't need to bring anything your first day, just a notebook and a pen, and that's it. We're going to give you the rest. So.
All right, so we have Shawnee's information for financial aid in the group chat. I will add the admissions email. Feel free to shoot us an email if you have any questions, and we can pretty much get you to the next step, whether it's completing your FAFSA or registering you for classes. Email us, and we'll work with you over the next week or so to get you to the next step.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a good night.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
All righty.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, man. Good night.